What I did earlier.
All right, we are live now. Okay, good evening, everyone back in Pakistan, and good morning here in North America, and good evening, Ulan, to you as well. I think it's evening time at your place.
Yes, it's around 5 o'clock.
Awesome. So thank you very much for coming over and responding to this whole invitation, and also giving our audience some opportunity to learn about Estonian e-residency, and also respond to their questions if they have any. So before I start, first of all, I would like to give you a little background about our platform. So basically, we are live at our Extreme Commerce platform, which is the biggest e-commerce platform in Pakistan, with over more than 500,000 members who are very engaged, highly active, and are always given proper guidance about how and what they should do when it comes to e-commerce or their business decisions and everything. We have been operating. So here in this platform, you would see people who are active sellers. They are selling on Amazon, selling on eBay, and other e-commerce platforms, be it Shopify or let's say Etsy. And you would also see, a different category of individuals who are working as a freelancers and serving the clients not only in Pakistan but also across the globe. And you would be happy to know that Pakistan is fourth largest freelance country in the world, and serving their clients across the globe with perfect professionalism and quality standards. So once again, thank you very much. And when I posted this webinar, and I was really happy to see the excitement about e-residency, which is offered by Estonian Republic. And some of our colleagues are also availing this opportunity, but we wanted to have somebody right from the Republic official to talk about e-residency, and how it's unique in its features, how it can be very beneficial for people who want to expand their business to European market, because Estonia is part of the European Union, and it has so many benefits that many of the sellers may not be aware of that. So I think with your presence, we will have better understanding and opportunity to see all those things, all those opportunities which we may not be seeing at the moment. So over to you, Lan.
Thank you very much for having me as a guest speaker at your event, and I'll be happy to share what the e-residency program of Estonia might offer your community, and might offer an international location-independent entrepreneur. So I guess, like with this COVID situation, we have all seen this massive growth in the e-commerce sector, and also in working from home, working remotely, and all kinds of remote services. And from what I've understood is that looking from afar, Europe seems a pretty complicated place where to do business, or where to expand your business to. It's roughly about the same size as the US, a little bit smaller, but it consists of so many different countries, so many different languages, so many different legislations still, that calling it the European Union even sometimes is a little bit of a joke. So that it wouldn't seem so difficult and so complicated, I will share something that might help you in entering the European Union market, and that is actually registering an EU-based business in Estonia.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to share slides, or
Please.
let me know? Yeah.
So that's on now, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So looking at this e-commerce sector from your side, I have been in touch with many different companies just recently from both from Asia and also from actually the UK, who all have the same problems, that the different VAT numbers, the different declarations, it's kind of a headache, and a lot of them have been actually thinking about having an EU entity in Estonia. Within the last couple of months, we've had massive growth even from the UK side, checking out the E-Residency website, for example. So I will share a little bit about Estonia and the E-Residency program, and then move on to telling about the specifics of actually registering a business entity in Estonia. These two things are a little bit different by nature, because e-residency is given out to individuals, and the business obviously is something else. Estonia may be a country that most of you have never even thought about when thinking about the European Union. We are tiny. We are located in Northern Europe. I like to joke that how to get to Estonia? Well, you go to Finland and you turn left.
Yeah, so your capital is just at the corner, right?
Exactly. So tiny little town of Tallinn, but we have done something right. We have managed to build a completely digital society, which means that 99% of our public services are actually online. What this means, why the 99%? There is one thing currently that in communication with the state you cannot do online. Have I told you what this one thing is?
Yes, I think.
So currently,
you for the audience, yeah.
Currently, it's getting married. That's the only thing that you cannot do while sitting in your own home and logging on to a public service. Last year, we managed, with the COVID situation, we managed even buying property online. So now you can sit on your couch and you can do everything through an e-notary system, and that just tells you about what Estonia has really done in terms of the digital advancements. We are a startup nation. If you think about Estonia compared to Pakistan's population is roughly 170 times bigger than Estonia's. So to build any kind of business, we right away have to start looking outside. We right away have to be global from the first day. So we are quite entrepreneurial as a nation. And this led to introducing this e-residency program in 2014, which we like to call a government startup. So if you see me, like you would expect me to be very official as I'm representing the Estonian state, but I'm representing e-residency program, which is like a government startup. So we wear hoodies just like everybody in the startup field. And the point of the e-residency program was to attract business opportunities and support our economic growth by getting more people to be part of the Estonian economic system. Of course, the secret plan is to just make our tiny country well known. So what is e-residency? E-residency is a digital identity which helps you to log in to any government system or even private sector service by proving that you are who you are. It is an access to the services, a secure authentication online, and it even provides you with a digital signature that is actually accepted in all of the EU member states. And a little plus is that we have a global community of e-residents that actually are all entrepreneurial minded, and they are from all around the world. So if you're looking for business opportunities, partners, service providers, somebody to help you with translating something to a local language, you name it, then we have a community of those people from all around the world. Something that is always causing some confusion is the things that e-residency does not provide you with. So we always have to be exact that e-residency is not a travel document. Although the same capability that the e-residency gives you, we have connected to our ID card that is also a travel document within the European Union. It's not a citizenship. It doesn't provide you with a visa to travel to Estonia. It's not a real residence permit, and the name is a little bit confusing in that sense, that it's called e-residency. And it doesn't automatically give you tax residency in Estonia either. There are special cases or ways that your company also definitely is a tax resident of Estonia, but it doesn't automatically come with the e-residency. So the e-residency card looks like this. It's a plastic card at the moment. We are working really hard to make this card disappear, even though it's nice and blue and in our colors. But our future or our vision is that the e-residency would actually be cardless, so that we wouldn't have to be stuck in this world of these pickup locations where you can get this card, and we could expand without borders. But this is what it currently looks like. And it has a chip. You put it into a reader that comes together with the Residency Kit, and you're ready to basically activate your secure digital identity online. What is the point of becoming an e-resident? The point is that the Estonian company registration system, the incorporation, has always been online, and it actually takes about 15 minutes to log on to the Estonian e-Business Registry, fill out all the necessary things once you have your e-residency card, and have your company incorporated, usually on the next business day, although they say that it takes 2 to 3 days officially. But sometimes it's even done on the same day.
This is still, so this is still quite faster than many things, many places that we can see.
Yeah. So 15 minutes compared to days of waiting and filling out papers in a lot of places in the world is a little bit better, I would say. And also, you never have to really set foot in Estonia to manage your company, because all of the monthly declarations that on the taxes that you would have to declare, all of the communication, it is all done remotely. So it's all done through the same authentication. So there's no real reason to ever set foot in Estonia when you have an Estonian company. You can securely access a range of Estonian public and private e-services, including financial ones. You can digitally sign contracts and other documents. That means that, for example, if you would have to sign a contract with your accounting company in Estonia, or maybe even employ somebody in Estonia, that's also an option. Then even the employment contracts in Estonia, they are usually not on paper. They are all signed with the same digital signature, like the e-residents will have. And taking advantage of our entrepreneurial and startup-minded ecosystem is also a big plus. For example, what the Estonian government has also done is that Estonian companies can apply to be evaluated whether their business model makes them a startup or not. And those that do define as a startup with a scalable business model, they are actually eligible for startup visa and have an easier time coming to Estonia, raising capital for their startup, being able to also employ people on a more easier level than a usual company that is, for example, looking for cheap labor from other places. So startups, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, this is a good opportunity for people who want to find a pathway to visit Estonia, because if they get a startup visa, then they can land and then they start their new journey.
Exactly. So Estonian startup visa is maybe worth looking up also, and Startup Estonia, which is the organization that is taking care of our local ecosystem here. Then we have currently 80,000 e-residents from all around the world. They come from more than 170 countries, and they have currently formed 16,000 companies in Estonia. So as you can see, not all e-residents are company founders. People become e-residents also just because they think that being part of the most digital, coolest little country in the world is just a fun thing to do. Plus, we have also been to a lot of tech conferences where people just hear about it and think that, wow, I could also be an e-resident of Estonia. But the main use is still the company creation. What it takes to become an e-resident, the e-residency is a cross-governmental program. So it actually involves different institutions in Estonia. And the first thing to know is that it is given out to natural persons, so not legal entities. So you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you are the one who gets e-residency, not your existing company in another country.
Yeah.
Then you have to explain in the application form what interest you have in using Estonian e-services. So, for example, in the case that we're talking about here is that really being interested in registering a company in Estonia is one thing that is a substantial interest in using Estonian e-services. Then applicants cannot be Estonian citizens or residents of Estonia. So e-residency is actually a completely separate status. So if you already are in Estonia, studying there, working there, then you have what's called the real residency, whether it's with an end date or whether it's permanent, but you have the real residency. If that ends, you could become an e-resident though. Successfully convinced 2 of my Costa Rican friends to become e-residents after they had to leave here when they were studying.
Wow.
And it's open for all countries and citizenship. So there is no real discrimination based on where you are at. What it also means is that we have pickup locations around the world, but not in all 170 countries, unfortunately, yet, that I mentioned. We have been until now restricted to our embassies, but now we are opening also some new pickup locations together with a procurement partner that are going to be in Singapore, Thailand, in Bangkok, also in South Africa, for example, and Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo in Brazil. So we're opening up new opportunities, not only through our embassies, but also through partners.
Oh, any place near to Pakistan?
Yeah, the place.
Estonia doesn't have embassy in Pakistan, but
No,
any other place?
No, we do not. And the closest places to you would be, I guess, Delhi in India. But also, I've heard that it's easy to travel to Abu Dhabi from where you are, right?
It's closer. Yeah, it's like a 2 hours flight. And so if the pickup is in Abu Dhabi, then I think it's relatively easier for the audience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you may need to travel abroad to pick up your e-residency kit, and to be able to enter that country, obviously, is on you, not the e-residency program. And you have 6 months to collect it. You may change a pickup location if you wish, if something changes in your life. But roughly the timeline looks like this, that you get together documents. That means your passport, for example, you get your credit card, you get some other things about you together and submit your online application. It takes about 10 minutes to fill out. There's some questions about your background because the organization that gives out the e-residency card is our Estonian Police and Border Guard. So a background check is performed. You are checked for criminal records and economic fraud. So those are the things that we do on our side to keep the e-residency program away for legitimate business. Then it officially takes 30 days for the Police and Border Guard to review your application. In reality, it takes less. In Estonia, everything in reality takes less than the public sector promises. For example, when I order a passport from the Estonian Police and Border Guard, they also tell me that it takes 30 days. In reality, I get an SMS in 3 or 4 days that it's ready and waiting for me.
Wow.
So in that sense, I would not take these 30-day numbers too seriously. Then e-residency kit will reach your pickup location that you choose in your application within 2 to 5 weeks. And this is the reason why we are really working hard for making the e-residency card free, so that there wouldn't be a physical card that gives you this e-residency. But right now, it still is a physical card, and the reason why you have to show up personally in the pickup location is to give fingerprints. So there's some biometrics involved in giving out the residency card. So 6 months from the arrival, especially nowadays, it has sometimes been even prolonged because people cannot travel due to the COVID situation. So our embassies and pickup locations have been quite responsive and ready to help if somebody knows that, like I'm not coming because I don't want to come, but I'm not coming because I can't come. So they've been quite responsive in keeping those for longer. And becoming an e-resident has obviously a state fee for processing your application. It is 100 euros if you have the chance to pick it up in one of our embassies, and up to 130 if the partner that gives it out is a private sector partner or another pickup point. So depending on the location, the surcharge is a little bit different. There are no annual fees. There is a small fee for changing a pickup location halfway through. You have to renew it in every 5 years. So that means that you have to do the same process with the background check, because things might have changed from the last time. And replacement of the broken card is also the same fee. If you forget your PIN codes, then you can also order new PIN codes. So it doesn't mean that you have to apply again. And why is Estonia a great place to start a company? There are many reasons, but the first and foremost, I think, is the fact that you really never do have to fill out any papers. Everything is digital and quite advanced compared to a lot of countries in the world. We have a very liberal economy. Our business environment always scores really high on different indexes that compare different countries. One of the most maybe interesting one is that we have scored 7 years in a row #1 on the tax competitiveness index table. So Estonia's tax system is quite favorable. I will cover a few things about that later. It's easy to do business. There is no risks. We have low corruption. We have been very similar to the Scandinavian countries in terms of our business culture. So even though we come from the Soviet past, we have managed to reform our economy in the 30 years we've been independent to be very much like Finland, Sweden, Norway. So very, very low risk. And highly educated human capital. It's easy to hire people in Estonia because they all speak also English and Russian. And we are an active member of international organizations, the EU, the NATO, the OECD, and English in Estonia is spoken almost by everybody. So once you have your e-residency card, then the next step to open a company in Estonia would be to choose a business service provider. And I will explain what the business service provider means in the next slide as well in a more detailed way. But once you have chosen a business service provider, then you log on to the company registration portal, which is called the E-Business Registry, and you fill out the necessary application and register your company. Then if your field of action requires a license or further registration at the Register of Economic Activities, then that would be an extra step. I can tell you that, for example, different gambling services or cryptocurrencies or things like that, they are, of course, always in most countries licensed activities. So you might need to apply for a license. And then next step is opening a business banking account. And after that, you should be ready to go. What does it mean that you need a contact person and legal address in Estonia? It's the only mandatory local service that Estonia requires you to have. If the management board is located in a foreign country, then you have to have somebody and an address in Estonia that the Estonian state has about you. And this is a licensed service. So only licensed accounting companies can designate you a contact person and offer this address service. So unless you have a real office in Estonia and the real access to an address, you would have to use a business service provider to get that. And the address of the contact person will be the address of the company in the Estonian Business Registry. Do not mix this up. Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Do not mix this up with the requirement for a local director that a lot of other countries may have. So contact person is not the local director. Contact person is really, it is a service that is provided by accounting companies in order for the Estonian state to have someone to contact you, and their obligation is to forward any messages to you. So you have to be and stay in contact with them.
Okay, so this is very important. For example, if I were to go for e-residency, I open the company, I have the banking account created, maybe a fintech account. Now, if am planning to open Amazon account and from Estonia, saying that I am a e-resident of Estonia, will that address be considered as valid or
Yes.
or not, or is there any way?
That address will be considered the address of your company. So in that sense, that is what you put in there.
Excellent. So which means that the biggest benefit of some people who are, let's say, who are sitting in Pakistan and they cannot open Amazon Seller Central and Seller Central account. So with this particular option, e-residency, they are now able to do that, isn't it?
They are considered an EU-based company. So that's what you will have then.
Excellent. So did you guys have any kind of arrangement with Amazon on this front? Because this is one of the attractive proposition for any e-commerce seller.
Yeah, we have been. I have personally actually been talking to Amazon like a little bit on the Asian side, so that they would be aware about the e-residency, and so that maybe we can move on to actually start getting them to recommend this option for their sellers even. But we have successfully onboarded a lot of e-commerce companies that use an Estonian service provider, and because the service providers that we recommend are in very good contact with us, and we have a very lively ecosystem, and we're communicating them with them very closely, then I know for a fact that this is used by a lot of e-commerce companies from outside of Europe to sell on Amazon.
Excellent. So this would solve a lot of problems for many e-commerce sellers out there, and I think the audience is hearing this option, and I'm sure they will look into it. So this is this. So just to reconfirm, because this is very important point. Can you go back to your previous slide, please? So this legal. I'm just trying to elaborate for my audience. So when you say contact person and legal address, so this is address which is provided by the licensed representative and at a price. So obviously this is not free, and there's a cost to it. But it's all legit, and there's no such thing as a virtual kind of existence, correct?
Yes. So it's that, yeah, you're right. It's not a free service. It's a service that's provided for a fee. And I will actually cover the approximate fees, or like what it means also on another slide. But yes, it's a completely legitimate way of having a company in Estonia as a non-resident, as an e-resident. So the address of the accounting firm that provides you with this service will be considered as the official address of that company.
The underlying reason for asking this question is because many e-commerce sellers from countries where they don't have selling rights, they would probably be interested in this option, but they want to be sure, because recently in very selectively Amazon has introduced a process where they send the verification code on your given mailing address on your residence, and that residence needs to be actual, so that somebody can receive it. And
yes, that is the point of the contact.
Then for example, if you are the contact person and with a legal address, and you receive that code in your mailbox as a courier, so you see it and you open it, you give me the code, I log into amazon.com or whatever the Seller Central, and then I put in there, hence my account gets verified and I'm able to sell.
Exactly. So sometimes this creates a lot of confusion, but I even was in contact with our fintech partner TransferWise just recently, and I asked them about specifically this, knowing this event was going to take place. Even for them, if you are a Pakistani opening an Estonian entity that has an Estonian legal address, then for TransferWise that is the address of the company. So you are totally accepted as a customer if there are no other problems that they find in you.
Excellent. So it's legal physical address, we call it. It's not virtual,
No.
and your mails, everything will be received by us, by somebody. They can scan it, they can give it to you and send it to you so that you use it for your thing. So whether it's Amazon seller, so you want to put this address in Amazon seller account, or in your any fintech banking solution, whether it's TransferWise or Pioneer or other tools, right?
Mm-hmm. And actually, one of the reasons why we added these service providers who provide you with this like legal address and contact person in between here is that this whole e-residency thing, it's not a way to escape the law or taxes or anything else. So it's a way to actually, you know, have a legitimate business. So somebody has to keep an eye on what you do, in the sense that they are your contact person.
Perfectly fine. There's no such thing. There's no doubt and there's no reluctance in following the law. We are a law-abiding nation, and we like to practice business in a very legit way.
Right. So to go on, then one thing to note is that if you are a solopreneur, it's quite easy. You log in alone. But if you are registering a multi-shareholder company that has several shareholders, then all of them would have to have either the e-residency digital ID card. So all of you would have to become e-residents, or you might also use one of these other types of IDs that are also valid to log on to the Estonian Business Registry. So they are from Europe, other European countries, or are Estonian real ID card. This is the opening page of our e-business registry. As a former owner of several businesses, trust me, I have spent numerous hours on this system. So I do know it by heart, but this is where you log into to establish your company. And just a little bit more on the service provider part. So you may use them not only for the minimum, which is the contact person and legal address, but you can also leave the company formation to them. So you don't even have to do it yourself, like I mentioned, not even log on to the Estonian e-business registry yourself. But once you have chosen a service provider from our marketplace, then you can let that company do everything for you as well. And they have done it many times, so there's a certain economies of scale there, and they do it probably faster and know the system very well. There is also one service that has built on the API of our business registry, so they have a nicer interface to do the same thing in, for example. So there are different options. You may use the same service provider also for accounting. You may use them for legal advice, tax consultation, business consultation, or even actually hiring people in Estonia and relocation to Estonia. And this is what the private sector service providers all do, not us. So these are the private sector service providers that can help you with all these things. Or even sales and marketing. This is the marketplace on the e-residency website. As you can see, it includes all kinds of different things. It includes legal and accounting, and it even includes actually all the fintechs that we work with. So when you go on this page, you can see who we have really good relations with. And out of the fintechs, you will find their TransferWise, Pioneer, Paysera, and Stripe. Stripe. I'm not sure if Stripe is supported in Pakistan. Do you know?
Well, I have to check. Sorry, I don't recall it right now.
Yeah, so the only
maybe my audience can confirm that, because I don't want to make
the thing with the Stripe is that they require the board members to be in a supported country. So that's a trick there. But we work with TransferWise very very closely, because TransferWise is an Estonian company.
Oh, so they will give some good edge.
If you didn't know that the TransferWise was an Estonian company, then it's one of our 7 unicorn startups.
Excellent. So the good thing is, for the banking solution, TransferWise is one of the preferred ones, right?
Yeah, we always recommend.
Besides Pioneer and all that.
Exactly. So I'm not sure if I have a slide about this, but yeah, I do have a slide about the fintechs as well. But just a few words about choosing a legal entity. The most preferred one, obviously, is the private limited company that we have available. It's also used by most Estonians. Over 20,000 private limited companies get created a year, and it's suitable for either one or more shareholder companies. It has a quite low share capital requirement compared to a lot of Western countries, and it can be deferred, which means that when you register your company, you don't have to at the same moment pay down the 2,500 euros as the share capital, but you can do it later. You mark it in your articles of association. Maximum 7 years from establishing is when you can pay it in. And the only thing that not having the share capital down payment or contribution will stop you from doing is paying out profit as dividends. So that's an important thing to realize. The 2,500 is the share capital, and it also equals to your liability as a company owner. So even though you don't have to pay it in on day one, your liability is still in the same amount. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So there's this relaxation for entrepreneurs to get settled down, and then you can sort of take care of those things.
Yeah, so you can already start, building your business, but until you get to the point where you have to pay out dividends, you should be able to, make that contribution and make sure that this money is there. And the easy registration process, obviously. You could also establish a subsidiary of your existing company, so that you may have a company registered in Pakistan or in Singapore or somewhere else. There is only one thing to note about that, is that the registration of a subsidiary requires a notary service. But afterwards, everything else, the tax declarations, the different services, this can all be done entirely remotely with the E-Residency card. But registering it still requires notary services. So that's just one thing to note here. And how much will company incorporation cost? The state fee is 190 euros. The contact person services start from about 200 euros a year. I know some of our current service providers are even running some campaigns, so it's even a little less than 200 euros. So it's actually at the moment probably even like 179 or 189 per year that you can get this service for. And the accounting services depend obviously on the volume of transactions that you do. So starting from 50 euros means for somebody who is a digital freelancer. I have my own one-man company, for example, that I use for lecturing at a local university and invoicing them. And the income and the expenses that I make from this small one-man, one-woman company, the accounting is about this much. So it starts from that, but the more volume, the more transactions, the more obviously the accounting fee will be. On our marketplace, you can compare the prices and the sectors of the different service providers, so you can find the one that is experienced in e-commerce. They have automated their they have a format for uploading your transactions, and they have like automated this process a little bit specifically for the e-commerce companies. So you can find it from our marketplace. And if there's other costs involved, then obviously I can't know about all of them, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so that's about the business account now. Always the most interesting topic. To have an Estonian company, you can use one of the Fintechs that are registered in the European Union or European Economic Area. The good thing with Fintechs is that the accounts can be opened entirely online. And they have a very wide choice of different services. So you can choose the one that suits you best with their pricing and whether you need to take payments on your own website or like whatever you need. But since they are not banks and they are not credit institutions, they don't provide you with any business loans or other services that banks do provide. Banks in Estonia, after not sure if the news has made it as far as Pakistan, but due to some recent scandals in Europe with money laundering, the banks are quite conservative, and there is a bank requirement to have a strong connection to Estonia, which means that to have a bank account in a real bank that also gives out loans, you may need to prove this strong connection to Estonia. How to do that? You should maybe have an employee in Estonia, or a little bit more than just a legal address, maybe some real office. So in that sense, you have to somehow show that you have a strong connection to Estonia to get a bank account in the regular bank. And the bank that we work with, LHV, sometimes is trying to move towards this like distant authentication, but it's not 100%. So a personal visit to the bank is still required at the moment to open an account. But a not so well-known fact is that you can open an Estonian company also by having a bank account in another EU or European Economic Area country. So it means that if you already have some IBAN within the European area, then it might be actually like okay to not even worry about getting a bank account in Estonia. And banks and fintechs are still private institutions. So although we work with a lot of partners and we have really good relations with them, E-Residency still does not equal 100% that they will always serve you no matter what. So it still depends on the business and the individual that is turning to them. And the banks all have their different risk appetite. They all have their different KYC. But TransferWise has proven to be really, really good partner for e-commerce companies, as we hear. Interesting or important thing to note also is that the e-residency is not a way to escape taxes in your home country. So it's always important to understand what it means for you as an individual. So Estonia considers Estonian companies Estonian tax residents, but it also depends on what your country thinks of you having a company in Estonia. So you should look that up, and you should understand the tax implications for your own country as well. So that means that there's something to be maybe researched also on your own side, and to understand what it means for you as an individual also in Pakistan to be able to have an Estonian company.
And yeah, okay. So I don't know if you have covering this, but what's the corporate tax rate usually? So what's the range? How is it applied?
Estonian tax system, like I said, is quite cost effective. We actually don't have a corporate income tax per se. We only tax distributed profits. So when your company makes profit, you do not pay every year from this profit a certain percentage to the state. But once you decide that you will distribute the profit as dividends, then at that moment you have to pay income tax. And the income tax is a flat rate, 20% tax. And
regardless of the turnover.
Regardless of the turnover,
and the dividend that you share. So whether it's $1,000 or $100,000,
yeah,
there's 20% flat.
Exactly, and there is even a way to reduce this percentage a little bit by becoming regular dividend payer, so that if you pay dividends always every year, then this percentage will be a little bit reduced. So you will get like a sort of a discount for paying out dividends. And our tax authority is one of the friendliest in the world. So it's actually quite normal in Estonia to ask from the tax office, like how or what or what do I have to do. So there's no this kind of a fear of tax office. So we can assure you that. And one of the things that is probably very important to realize as an e-commerce company, from what I started with, is that Europe seems like a pretty complicated place with all the different VATs, but there's going to be a quite massive change in the VAT declaring that is going live on July 1st. And what it means is that one-stop shop for VAT declaring is going to be created throughout the EU member states. And each country should make it available to declare VAT to also other countries. And I know that our tax office has already had workshops with service providers and the users of this e-tax system to share how they have developed this already. And so it is ready to go on the 1st of July. Estonia is a little bit like straight A student sitting in the first row. So when European Union makes a regulation, Estonia usually follows with action, and we are always on time.
Excellent.
Example is, for example, that when European Union decided to ban smoking indoors in restaurants, Estonia did it from day one. But in some Western European countries, you could smoke inside for quite some time afterwards, after this actually was a law in the whole European Union. So that's just kind of to give you the idea. So our tax office is ready for allowing Estonian companies to have an Estonian VAT number and declare under the simplified one-stop shop system the sales to other member states through their system. So that should be really interesting for e-commerce sellers.
So this post July 1st, 2021, when the one-stop shop is implemented, then things will get more simplified. Because currently what happens is, you're right that, if I'm selling in Germany and my footprint, my company footprint is in Germany, and I want to sell in Netherlands, or let's say France, then I have to have a separate kind of VAT and filing for each country. But I think post one-stop shop, then this entire Europe is covered, so there's no hassle whatsoever.
Yeah, and right now you have to keep in mind the different thresholds in different countries, like how much do I sell there, and how much have I exceeded this level, and so there's a lot of administrative burden at the moment. But this will all be simplified, and Estonia is ready to take on these customers.
I think then post July 1st, then Estonian residency would be one of the I would say best possible options to operate in Europe, because
even seen a big interest from right here from the UK recently due to the same reason.
Yeah, thing is, post Brexit, now even if you want to operate your business, expand your business from UK to Europe in any of the European countries, then also now the requirements have increased, and hence the business challenges have compounded.
Yep. So yeah, like I mentioned, Estonia is named #1 on the tax competitiveness index for the last 7 years. So that's a fun fact. And of course, if you have actual plans to do something in Europe, to have like real business on the ground, not just sell to Europe, then you have access to all the Estonian and EU public funds and grants, just like any other Estonian company. Access to the Estonian startup ecosystem. We have an E-Residency company list that lists all the companies that are owned by e-residents, and allows them to contact each other and find somebody who will help them in another country, and the support of our service providers in the marketplace. So that's pretty much it from me. I have added some quotes from real e-residents here about what they like about having a company in Estonia, but I don't have to show them all. And you are welcome to now ask questions from me rather than me keeping a monologue here.
Excellent. This is very well structured, and it was very spot on. And I think this is the reason I didn't bring up too many questions, because the flow was amazing, and you were able to cover most of the questions yourself. So now I'll still pour in some questions because my audience is also asking a lot of questions. So let me take a look at it. There is recent questions. So one question which before I take questions from my audience. So you have confirmed that now Amazon account can be created with this company and fintech option that we have, and the legal address can be used. The second thing is the corporate tax is 20% flat on the dividend that you share, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so which is also double account. I'm just sharing some fun question. Will having a spouse in Estonia be of any benefit?
I think so. Like most countries in the world, where if you have a spouse in Estonia, then it's always a way of getting into the country as a family member. Yes, but as for the e-residency, getting the e-residency, the point is to not come to Estonia but run a business through Estonia. So in that sense, it will not help if you have a spouse in Estonia.
So there's this Faisal is asking, how many persons can get an e-residency from a single license?
From a single
license?
Not sure that I understand. What does that mean?
I believe he's trying to understand that the location. Maybe he's trying to refer one location can be used for multiple purposes, or just one location for one e-residency and company the address. So this legal contact person and the address can be used once only, correct?
No. It can be used however many times, because these companies provide this as a service. So there are quite many companies registered to these accounting companies' addresses. So you can register 2 companies with the same service provider as well.
So like Zubair is asking, accounting firm will provide unique real address to each registered company.
No, the same. The address of that accounting company is what is provided.
Okay, so then.
And I know. Okay, so I understand what the motivation piece behind this question is, and we have actually, yes, I know we have had this problem with PayPal, for example, that PayPal does flag sometimes addresses that have too many companies registered to them, and we are working, we are meeting with them, trying to make them understand that this is not the reason to flag these company accounts, but PayPal is not yet convinced that they should be working hand in hand with the Estonian e-residency and allowing these non-resident people who are living somewhere else having the same addresses as a lot of other companies, but legitimate Estonian business that is accounted for by an accounting company on spot. But we are working on it. So I understand.
So it's not only PayPal; it's also Amazon. We need to avoid same address.
The accounting companies that we work with would have more experience on this, and I believe they can advise you on this. So the first and best thing to do would be to go to the marketplace and find one office is one that services e-commerce companies from our e-residents a lot. Then there is E-Residency Hub, for example, and a couple of other ones, Comistar, which I can send later as well, a list of companies that do e-commerce. So it's something that they will have best answers to, and how they have solved it, that to make sure that it's not flagged or it's not stopped.
Okay. Then there's this. Ehsan is asking, can you tell us about digital nomad visa?
Estonia has also introduced the digital nomad visa, which is for those that want to live in Estonia for up to a year. And if your work and your business allows you to be somewhere else, then digital nomad visa is for those people who want to live in Estonia. Estonia is a really nice place. In summer, in June, we have only about 2 hours of darkness at night. So it's a pretty amazing place to be. But the threshold for having a digital nomad visa is that you have to make an income of 3,500 euros a month. So if that applies to you, then digital nomad visa is a really good way. I am happy to share the link of this to the. Can I also
Yes.
share comments?
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah.
Or you can send in private chat. I can post it. No worries.
Yeah, I will send it to you because for some reason I don't see the field where to.
Okay, I'll just do that for the audience.
Yeah, somebody already comments that this is a lot. Yeah, and it is a lot, and we know, and we are not super happy with the outcome of the digital nomad visa, but it is what it is. So it's meant for somebody usually who is a highly qualified programmer, or somebody who really can make this kind of money per month. So.
Okay, so some of the fellows are asking that. Okay, some of them are saying that, what is the pathway? So does e-residency make it easier to get citizenship in Estonia if a person is a taxpayer of Estonia? So there's yeah.
E-Residency is not directly a reason to get Estonian residency, but having an Estonian company, you could also have an Estonian company as a non-resident without being an e-resident. Technically, you could be coming to Estonia each time to fill out papers and use a notary or use the attorney of law, and have somebody do things for you. But having an Estonian company and making certain size investments into Estonia is what matters when getting an Estonian residency permit. The other ways of by working here, by getting a job here, by founding a startup here through the startup visa program, by having an Estonian spouse, obviously, and then something else that I wanted to mention. Oh, and by studying here at a university.
Mm-hmm. We have a couple of students who are currently living in Estonia, and they are students. So I think they have bright opportunities. They can consider doing that. One more question. This is a very good question. In fact, Shabad is saying, I have dual nationality of Australia and Pakistan. Can I still apply for e-residency?
Yes, it's open to all nationalities, like I said.
And regardless of your number of nationalities, a dual national or one nationality, so it doesn't matter, right?
No.
Okay. Then we can ask how I don't know how long does it take to get passport of Estonia after one get again. So many people are confusing between e-residency and getting a citizenship. So please, guys, the pathway to citizenship is different. E-residency is a business solution in a more layman's approach than having an immigration. So this is not an immigration program. So just to clarify. But yes, digital nomad visa is one of the greatest options that if you want to ever set up your business in Estonia and visit there, then I think this is one. The second is, I remember I was talking to Lana on the business visa, right? I remember you were talking about the investor program that you have.
Yeah, and you can look that up as well. I'm happy to share later. I don't have this tab open on my computer right now, but there is a certain amount of investment that you have to make.
No problem.
I would say
this is very good question again. This is Ashtul Haq. He's saying, can we attend trade shows or exhibitions through e-residency? If we are e-resident, can we attend those?
It doesn't give you any specific access to any trade show or exhibition. Like, you would still have to go to that country where the trade show or exhibition is taking place and apply for a business visa based on going to that exhibition, or a tourist visa, or whatever it takes for you to go to that exhibition. So there's no real connection to e-residency here.
But having e-residency may have some weightage in terms of getting your visa approved and whatsoever, because your footprint is there.
E-residency as a status if a trade show takes place, for example, in Dubai, does not have much influence, I think. So it's about you having a company and wanting to showcase that company there. Dubai wouldn't in that case probably even know what the Estonian e-residency is. So
Okay. There's this, I have received my e-residency kit in 2019, haven't yet activated. Can I reactivate now?
There's a certain time that it expires, but I think 2 years, I think, is still fine. But I will find it out for you. I think it should still be fine.
Okay. I think we have covered most of the questions, but still, let me just take a look at them. If I see some. So we have one volunteer who is also responding, but it's just if we hear from you, that will be more,
I see an interesting question maybe that I could answer. Is it compulsory to have employee based in Estonia to complete the bank opening requirement? It's not compulsory. So like I said, and I still recommend to use Fintechs, but to open in a real bank, having an employee or having an office will help.
Right. Thank you. So this is a challenging question. E-residency does not safeguard you from the tax residency. So you still need to pay taxes in your own country, or what is the use of residency? Basically, my response to this is, the host country and the home country. There are two things. One is if you're earning and bringing income in your home country, you obviously need to then you are into the jurisdiction of your home country, and then all the tax laws apply to your. And if you are declaring that I have withdrawn this X amount of money from a business which is established in Estonia, then obviously you are eligible, you are entitled to pay taxes in your home country, and the corporate taxes that you are bound to pay in Estonia only for the business, nothing, no other personal income, right?
It's also important to understand, yes, that the company tax residency is one thing, but your individual tax residency is another thing. So if you still live, usually it's more than 180 days in a certain country, then you as an individual, if you take out dividends, you as an individual, then that is your personal income that is taxed according to your tax residency, and that applies to any country in the world almost. That it's the same way.
Correct. I think this is pretty much. Is there any requirement for a certain level of education? Okay, this is. I think I'll take a couple of more questions, then we can do this. So, is there a requirement for a certain level of education to have for a person to apply for e-residency?
No level of education is required. The police and border guard will perform a background check. So they will send inquiries to different databases that are available on the international level, and try and understand if you have been involved in any crime or economic crime, and that's I think the main reason why somebody would get denied e-residency, not based on education level or previous income or anything like that.
Excellent. Could you please guide the audience regarding how they can access this e-residency process and the whole thing, instead of sending you direct emails?
I would like to share a short link with you. So if you could post it to the general comments or the chat window, this will put you right on the page where it talks about starting a business and e-residency, and then you can read more about it. And it all goes through our website. So you basically just follow from there. It takes you to the application on the police and border guard page, and you use a login, and you can later check whether your application has been approved and how long it will take. And
okay, awesome. So once again, thank you very much, Ulen. It was a wonderful session, very insightful and informative. It was very well structured, and you also responded to most of the questions very, very nicely. So thank you very much.
You are very welcome, and thank you for having me. If it's interesting, I will also send my slides that you can share with the community if needed, and hope to see you becoming Estonian business owners soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.